Welcome back viewers. In this video we are going to do the installation of Mageia 9 live plasma desktop. So we will be using the live edition or the live ISO and do the installation of plasma desktop. Let us start. You have to open this with boxes. We will give 4 GB of RAM. So it's very pretty standard, and around 30 GB or we can go with 35 GB of hard disk. So this is the screen, boot screen. So here you can see there is option, so you can directly boot the Mageia live. You can use the non-free NVIDIA drivers, so it will be slower to boot if you use the non-free NVIDIA drivers. Then you can directly start the installation using the Mageia live installer, and you can use the non-free NVIDIA drivers to directly install without testing out the live desktop. And you can do the memory test, and you can, I think, change the language from here. Let's see. Yes, so there are options to boot from using different languages. So anyway, we are not going to do this, but you can do if you want. So let us first boot into the this Mageia live KDE desktop, and we will use the NVIDIA drivers for booting up. So this is a very you can say specific and very different splash screen. It is not like any in other Linux distribution. It is very unique. Yes, so here you can now select the language first. So let us try whether any other language are given or not, because I am trying for the Indian one. Indian Hindi is there. So I think we will continue right now with the American English, because any other Indian English is there. So no, it is not there. So I think we should use the American English only. And later on, after the installation is done, we can change, or during the installation if possible we will change this, or we can go with just English. So I think let me check. Okay, so we will just go with the English. Then I will accept the license, and here you have to change the time zone. Where is Kolkata? Yes, we will go with Indian. Yes, so okay, so Indian Ocean is there, but India is not there in Indian Ocean. So we have to go and check for Asia. Yes, India will be there in Asia. Kolkata is there. Next, whether you want to use the 24-hour or the 12-hour clock. What is there in the advanced automatic time synchronization? So it is good to have this. We will use this 12-hour clock. And in keyboard, let us try if the English, Indian English is there. Okay, Bengali is there. English India is not there. So what to do? What to do? We can go with the US keyboard. It will be okay. So now the installer, this live desktop will boot up, and then we can use the installer. So again, the splash screen has come up on the screen, and do keep in mind the NVIDIA drivers are loaded, so that's why the live desktop is taking time to come up. I think this is the KDE default sound. Okay, so the installer has come up. So let me try for the display configuration. We'll change the display configuration. Keep this. Okay, so this is the Mageia desktop. Looks very nice. This desktop gives me the memory of Astra Linux. So Astra Linux also similar looking desktop is there. Very cool looking and very we can say very responsive desktop. You can see it's very responsive. It is way more responsive than any other KDE desktops. Okay, so now what we will do is, so this is the welcome window for Mageia, or welcome app, or welcome window, and you can see there are links to start the installer and link to join the Mageia community. And this is the live mode, so there is some installer documentation is there. This is the Mageia control center. So using Mageia control center, you can manage the software, hardware, network and internet system, network sharing, local disk, security and boot. Further, you can install software using the RPM Drake or the DNF driver. Also, two package managers are available, and you can also check out the list of applications available from the wiki. And you can you can launch the installation from here. And there is some more information. So there are links to the documentation, support and community. So either you can launch the installer from here or from here. So what we will do is, let us launch the installer from here. Let us see what happens. Yes, so this is the Mageia Live installer. So user space, everything is free. So what we will do is use the free space. Let us go for the automatic partitioning. Let us see what happens, or we can go with custom partitioning also. Let us see what is available. I think it has partitioned the system also. Okay. So unused packages removal. So these are the packages that will be removed. Okay. Next. So now it is removing. I think the partitioning has been done and it is now removing the unwanted packages, because all those other locales will not be needed because we have already chosen the local. So the other local packages, all those are going to get removed. Normally what happens is, in other installers, first the installation is done, partitioning and the base system is installed, and in finally during the final stages of the installation, the unwanted packages are removed. But here the unwanted packages are getting removed first. So this is a big difference in the installer, because you see why I do the installation videos, because every installer, every Linux distribution, there is something new in that installer, in that system. So we need to do the installation videos also, because that gives us a better idea how the system will behave when we do the actual installation on our system. Okay, so now the installation has started. It takes to install the KDE desktop. We are around 2 minutes from the start of the installation. So now the installer is giving us some options. For example, there is option for the bootloader. So which kind of bootloader to use? So there is a bootloader with graphical menu as well as a bootloader with the text menu. So we will go with the graphical menu. In the next video, we will check out the bootloader with text menu. So in next installation, we will do the installation of GNOME desktop using the custom partitioning method, and we will use the grub to bootloader with the text menu. So right now we will go with the graphical menu, and the boot device we will keep the virtual hard disk only. There is no other option. And delay before booting the default image 10. Now we will configure the password. That should be very simple to remember, because we are just doing a review only, so we don't require very hard password. And there are options to enable the ACPI, enable SMP, enable Epic, enable local Epic. So we will keep all these options on. They are on by default. We will go with them. To the disk, only the bootloader installation was pending. So once it got the options from us, based on the options that we in the bootloader, and accordingly the bootloader is getting installed. And now you can see, since we have used the graphical installed, and now you can see here the default Mageia options for the Mageia OS, like the different kernels. So there is a recovery mode kernel, there is the main kernel, the link to the UEFI firmware settings, and whether to keep the OS prober on or not. So if you untick this, the OS prober will not work, and if you tick this, the OS prober will run every time you start the system. And in advance, let us check out. So what will be the video mode for the grub bootloader? So it will be 800 by 600. You can also increase this. You can have different resolutions available. So these are all the resolutions available. We will keep the default one, and do not touch ESP or MBR. So if you click here, even if the OS prober will detect any new operating system, it will not touch the ESP or MBR. So ESP and MBR will not be disturbed by, say for example, if you insert some USB drive, then the OS in the USB drive will not disturb the ESP or MBR of this installation. So this is the option available. So we will not going to tick this, because anyway there is only a single OS that is going to be used during the course of the review. So we will keep this untouched, but it is a good idea to tick this when you do actual installation on your system. And if you are afraid that some other OS will corrupt your ESP or MBR, then you should use this setting. Tick this here. Now we'll press OK, and you can see here finally the grub bootloader will finish the installation. You can see here. Okay, so now there is another option. You have now opportunity to set up online media. This allows to install security updates. To set up those media, you will require to have working internet connection. Do you want to set up the update media? Yes. So now the repositories are going to set up for the Mageia. So you have to say yes. And the mirror choice is automatic, or you can have specific mirror choice. You can have a default downloader, or you can use any of these downloading methods, aria, wget, curl. So you will use the default download method or the default downloader. So finally the repos are getting installed. So the repo configuration is get installed. So this happens in all Linux distributions, but this is the only Linux distribution I have seen which will allow you to do these settings. I think OpenSUSE also, yes, OpenSUSE does the similar thing. Yes, OpenSUSE is also there, and maybe few other Linux distributions that I don't remember, but most of them don't allow you to do all these settings during the installation. So there was a failure while adding the medium. So what we will do is uh, we will just go ahead, press next. So I think we will have to do the configuration of downloader again. Let us see what happens. Okay, so what we did exactly was first we had opted for a automatic selection of download mirrors. So we tried two times the automatic download from the automatic mirror selection failed. So we had given the option to the system that it should automatically select the mirrors and download the repository configuration from the mirrors, but it failed two times. So in the third attempt we did the manual selection of download mirrors, and we selected the India mirrors, and especially we selected the HTTPS, that is a more secure way of HTTP. So we chose that and the download was succeeded. So the repo configuration was downloaded, and now the Mageia is asking whether to download the updated packages or not. So the updated packages may contain security or bug fixes. To download these packages you will have to have a working connection. So what we will do is, let us go for it. Let us see what happens. Now it depends whether this ISO image is very new or not. So if it is very new, latest, then the number of packages for updates will be less. So I think I am right. So this is the latest ISO that we are using for the live installation, and because since it is the latest one, you see only 6.5 MB of updates will be retrieved. So only 7 packages to install. We will just go ahead, and it is doing a distribution upgrade. It will take another 2 minutes. So the update is quite fast, you can see. Now to sum up the installation that we have done today, we have used the live installation media, and we opted to install the KDE desktop. So there are 3 live images. One is for the KDE Plasma, second is Gnome, and third is XFC. We have chosen the KDE Plasma image of live installation media. We went ahead with the automatic partitioning of the disk, and later on we opted to have the automatic selection of the mirrors. So the mirrors they are spread all over the world, and we chose the automatic method and the default downloader, but that method failed 2 times. So we could not download the repository configuration from the mirror servers. So in the third attempt we chose to do the manual selection of the mirrors, and we chose the India mirror. So there were 2 HTTP and HTTPS mirrors, so we chose the more secure HTTPS mirror. And after the selection of the manual method of mirror selection and using the default downloader, we succeeded. And later on the system gave us option to do the installation of updates. Since the live installation media is very updated, very recent one, so only just 6.5 MB of updates were there to install. 7 packages were updated, and this update installation also took just few minutes to complete. Overall, this is a very we can say very neat and clean and logical installer. So this installer is called DrakeInstall. You can find this DrakeInstaller in many of the RPM based Linux distribution. It is working perfectly, and I like the logical way which with it proceeds ahead, and it gives the user lot of options for configuring. For example, configuration of the bootloader, configuration of the repositories, selection of the online mirrors, like there is a this manual or automatic method, and so for many other things were there. So it is very neatly designed installer. And with this I will stop the video here. Next video we will check out the KDE desktop. After the KDE desktop review is done, we will do the installation of the Gnome desktop using a live installation media, and there we will do the custom partitioning. So let us check out the custom partitioning of the Mageia Linux, and in that we will check out the different file system, different partitioning schemes that will be available in the DrakeInstall. So now we will stop, and we will meet you in the next video. Bye bye.